Hi, and welcome to Have a Chat. I'm your host today, Veronique Arsenault, and I'm joined, of course, by my wonderful co-hosts from home, Judy Loge and Audrey Lynch. So welcome, ladies, to our wonderful week together.
Hello, girls.
Hello, sweetie. Hi, girls.
It's
We're hanging
hard
in.
to believe. Yeah, absolutely. And it's hard to believe that I think it's been 8 weeks now or so since we started, this whole social distancing and, safe at home and all of that kind of stuff. So it's the world has changed, absolutely. But at least we get to be together in this way every week, and we get to visit our friends at home through this kind of technology as well. And get to see and talk to some of our viewers this way. And, welcome to another week, ladies. And it's hard to believe that here we are again.
Here we are again.
Yeah, we're all together again. It's actually Mental Health Week here as well. So that's something, which I think going through this time around for sure this year, I think more so than any other years, it's definitely an important week just because of that.
Absolutely.
You're right.
It's something we need to talk about more often and put a focus on. But I think everybody's kind of come to realize that, mental health can be severely affected by your surroundings and what's going on. And of course, the stress of everything that we're living through. But as we always do every week, we kick it off with a positive quote. And Judy, you have that quote today. So I'll get you to lead off with that.
I do have that quote, and I just want to give a real quick shout out to our Rogers producers, Sean and Tara. They're doing a great job getting on board with us every week. It's not easy from their end either because they have to be exactly at the right place at the right time and edit everything. And so a big shout out. All right, my quote, I have to look down at it, is be a lamp, be a lifeboat, be a ladder. Help someone's soul heal today. Walk out like a shepherd. And that's by a gentleman, Rumi. I think it's a gentleman. It's Rumi, the quote.
Beautiful. Loved it.
It's nice.
It's very lovely. Lovely.
Yeah, it's
perfect for
and
this.
You're very right, Judy. Whenever you can lift somebody up, a rising tide lifts all boats, as they say. And I think I was at a luncheon, and I'm sure you were there too, Judy, with Frank McKenna. And he said, the only time you should be looking down on someone is to offer them a leg up or a hand up, and that speaks exactly to what you just said. It's just absolutely, we need to be lifting people rather than putting them down.
Yeah, it's so true. And I've been just trying to do little things like popping, thinking of you cards in someone's mailbox, or going through my head thinking, I wonder who's home alone right now without anybody connecting to them. There's a lot of people that are alone, and I can't imagine. So if we can all be conscious of doing just a little something extra for those people out there that we can go through and think about, it would be really nice to continue with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we had, I actually stepped out on my doorstep there the other day to find a little painted rock with a happy smiley face on it. Just,
nice.
Out of the blue, which, turned out to be a girlfriend of ours that, she did up a great big pile of them and took her time to go through the city and drop them all off to us all just to let us and remind us that, we're all in the same boat.
Yeah,
globally.
It makes a difference.
We are all in the same boat. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Judy, how are you doing in general?
In general, Veronique, what I've started to do, I was talking about self-maintenance a few weeks ago, and I'm down to the Clairol color your roots in. So if anyone says my hair looks nice, it doesn't. It takes effort to get a little bit of gray out of there now. But what I've started doing is walking. I used to own a gym years ago, as you know. I was the owner of Yvonne's gym many years ago. Closed our part, sold it. I kept a commercial treadmill, which is fabulous. So I thought, it's rainy out today, so I'm going to get on a little bit later. But I find if you take your little bits in spurts, so I did a 1 kilometer walk this morning when the sun was shining. And then just to get my energy up throughout the day, I'll do maybe a 10-minute walk later in the evening on the treadmill, or just a little bit of something to make me feel pumped up, because the days are long and you have to keep busy. But I think exercise of any little form is wonderful, whether it be 5, 10, or 15 minutes a day.
Absolutely, and you're very right. And just even getting a few minutes of sunshine when we have it
Mhm.
is a super bonus. Unfortunately, we're about to see a snowstorm in May, which makes me want to retch a little bit. Um,
She
I
just said a
know.
bad word.
I did. Audrey, how are you doing in general?
In general, I'm not going to lie, it's been tough and it's been rough. I did have something good to look forward to this week, with it being Mental Health Week. I was asked by a girlfriend of mine who sits on the committee for Mental Health of New Brunswick to do a webinar. So I did my very first webinar this week, Wednesday morning, for New Brunswick Mental Health on their page, where I chit-chatted with whoever registered and signed in on the importance of, hair maintenance and looking after yourself. Like Judy, you were talking about, maintenance and, self-awareness and still being able to do those little things that make you feel good and put you in a better mood for the day, whether it's 10 minutes on your treadmill or if it's to take the time to do your hair and makeup, and how important just those little things can actually make you have a better day. So
Yeah.
during that webinar, I gave them all my little secrets, all my little gems of how to, trim your hair at home, color application, so that if you are going to take it on yourself, it doesn't end up a huge mess that maybe your stylist will have to help correct after when she gets you back in her chair and things like that. So it was
Good.
surprisingly, with the interaction with all of it, that I was on air for over an hour.
Oh, awesome.
So that made me
Good for
feel
you.
good that I was able to help some people in some small way feel better about being stuck at home right now.
Veronique, how are you
Absolutely.
doing, darling?
Not doing too bad. It's for me. It's been ups and downs. They would have been ups and downs anyway. And then you kind of throw in being safe at home. So, we got some bad
Mm.
news about my little floofer. We call him my little Budster, my little
Oh,
dog. Yeah, he's heading into heart failure. So, I
oh,
mean, he's still running around like a puppy. So we've got him on some medication. And I often talk about my dogs on social media. So, that one was a bit tough, but in general, I'm actually hanging in. The longer we're home, the more I seem to settle. I don't find it's as hard, to be kind of in my environment anymore as I did in the beginning. And I think, to be honest with you, part of the reason why I'm not finding it hard is I have, and we joke a lot about how busy I am and how busy all of you are, right? Um, Typically,
mhm.
what happens with me, and I've been this way since I was a child, I have that fear of missing out. So I get involved in things because, I want to see things happen and I want to see be part of positive, but I also don't want to miss out on the great stuff. And because everybody's at home now, I'm not missing out on anything. And so
That's
I'm
No.
right.
able to kind of relax a little bit into it and be okay with being home because I know everybody else is home. So um, it's taken a little bit of a burden off my mind, to be honest. But I mean, I'm dealing with those things that a lot of people are dealing with. I've got a senior mom, and she had a rough, few months with her own health before all of this, and now I've got, a pup that's not doing well, and my dad that's still overseas, and so, those regular life tough moments are still in the back of my head, and then you throw on top of it the fact that we're dealing with a global pandemic. So I'm like everybody else. Some days are good and some days are bad.
It's a very, very heavy time. And that's what I said. Sometimes we wear that smile and people think, oh my gosh, they're handling it so, so well. But we have to motivate ourselves. Like Veronique and Audrey, like you said, every day is a different day. Some days you wake up, you're ready to take on the world. And other days you're like, okay,
Yeah.
get me going here. And how can I help kind of lift the mood?
Yeah.
Because if mama's good, what do they say? The house is good, and the moods
That's
just
right.
trigger each other. If
Yeah.
someone comes home and they're down, you have to try to pick it up, and I seem to be the picker upper because that's the way I am. I try to remain myself, even though there's some days that aren't so easy to get through. But I'm looking forward to just this weekend, the fact that it's Mother's Day, and not that we can do what we normally would do, but I love being a mother, and obviously Audrey and Veronique and we want to talk about our amazing mothers, because that's we can certainly shed a lot of light on how much we love them. So who wants to go first?
Judy, you kick it off.
Well, I'll chit chat. Yeah,
Okay,
go ahead.
Audrey, you do it.
Well, I just wanted to mention for my mom who's in Moncton, her husband just came home from out west. So unfortunately, she's in quarantine. So there won't be any visiting. There won't be any like there'll be no bubbling whatsoever, unfortunately. So I find myself trying to think of ways that I'm going to be able to celebrate my mom in a special way that she'll be able to remember and not feel so down about the fact that she can't be close to her, family and her kids and her grandkids, even more so than, maybe some other people will be able to this year.
Well, maybe Audrey, just
my
real
plan is, yeah.
You could family Skype.
Yes, if I can definitely do that. I started off by going through some very, very old photos and started posting things. She's very nostalgic. I happen to have a hold of all of her things from when she was little. So daily until Mother's Day, she's going to see a lot.
Awesome.
Nice.
Judy, how about you?
I'll just say about my mom that she's one of my dearest, closest, best friends. I love her with all of my heart. I talk to her at least 3 or 4 times a day. And now that I'm allowed, I am the one that can go in there as the bubble person. So I love to visit with them. And I think I'll just maybe make them, like my mom and dad together in their home, a very nice special dinner, if I can. And she's beautiful in every way, my mother. She's humble, and she's beautiful inside and out. I know Veronique, her, Audrey may have seen her. She does not look her age, which I'm not going to give away, but I always say how young and vibrant and fashionable she is. But on the inside, there's nobody more kind and humble and giving. She would give you anything that she had and puts everybody before herself. And I am proud to call her my mom.
Absolutely.
Love you, Mom.
And you're right, Judy.
Yes.
She is a wonderful, wonderful human being, and she doesn't look her age, and she's got a spirit like no other.
Thank you. She'll be watching and hearing that. Yeah, she's super special. Great teacher, retired for 35 years. She was teaching and has been retired now since 1991. And like I said, we're just so blessed to have her. We're so blessed to have our mothers. A lot of our friends don't have their mothers, and they think how special and lucky we are, and we certainly are.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Veronique?
absolutely.
Veronique?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm lucky. I've got Mom here with me, and I mean, I talk about her often. She is my best bud. We know that. And I'm very lucky that I've had her my entire life. She is, I've always said I hope to be like her when I grow up, because she is absolutely an amazing human being, and she's come through a lot, and she's accomplished a lot in her life. And I think, a lot of people don't realize, Mom did her master's when she was in her 50s. She published a book, when she was in her 50s, and this year, with her health challenges, she's 100% now, but at one point she had to learn to walk. So, really, she is absolutely the person that I want to be. And I'm lucky. And so Sunday, I've been cooking every day since we have been safe at home, which is not my thing. I'm a fantastic cook, but I don't enjoy cooking at all. So I told Mom, I did promise Mom, that I would make a turkey on Sunday, a turkey dinner.
Oh, wow.
And oh yeah. And we also, my Aunt Cynthia is included in our bubble. So our bubble family is my Aunt Cynthia and us. And so she included in Mother's Day dinner as well. So I had to do the ordering online for groceries to pick up tomorrow and all of that business, because I'm cooking a turkey.
That's nice.
Brave girl.
It's always a special day. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, typically we'd take her, we'd go out and enjoy a nice nice meal out and let somebody else do the cooking. But in this
Yeah.
case,
Yeah.
we'll be happily at home. So here's a question for you guys. What's a feel good thing that you've seen on TV lately? Audrey, I'll start with you. Is there something that's kind of struck you as like, oh, that's made me happy, or I love that, or I want to share that?
Believe it or not, my husband and I have gone back to watching some really, really old shows. And I'm sure you'll remember this one with, I believe it was Michael Landon and Highway to Heaven.
Yeah.
And all of those feel good stories from, instead of, because I watch a lot of news trying to stay on top of things or whatever to find out what's going on and what the new rules and regulations and health stuff is. So at the end of the day, it's nice that we've been sitting down together. And even if I'm off in the corner painting and we have those shows on, to hear those, feel good stories that always have a perfect lesson in them, as well as making you feel better by the end of the show. So that's what we've been doing here. So,
Awesome.
and the kids are noticing that too, instead of watching the normal typical stuff. So, trying to bring some feel good and positive back in the house.
Love it. Love it. And you, Judy, what have you spotted lately?
Last week, I watched something that it just made me feel lighthearted and happy. It was a group of women, and one of the husbands was videoing the whole street of women that were social distancing from their driveways. I don't know if it was in the United States or Canada, but it didn't matter. They were dancing to the song Dancing in the Street. So they had the big boom box and some big speaker, and so every woman on the street was out giving all they had to that happy song. And it was like a street party, social distancing, but getting exercise, having fun. And the song just lifted me up, and watching them having so much fun together and waving at each other and laughing. It was just beautiful. I'd like to do it myself. Maybe I'll initiate that next week when the sun comes out.
Let me know when and where. I'll be right there. For me, I've discovered right at the beginning of this whole safe at home pandemic, I discovered Pluto Living on Facebook, and it's a little doggy, and he talks and he gives advice. I can't remember if he's a he or she, and as my dogs wander under the table now, he gives advice, and you really need to check it out because it's so cute. Lots of great topics for discussion, and I just love it. I just love them. Mom and I watch every time there's a new video, and they get thousands and thousands and thousands of views. So sorry, my dog is currently twerking under the table, and so she's making the camera shake. And I'm not kidding, my big dog twerks all the time. But anyway, she's twerking under the table and making the camera shake. So I apologize, but that's what happens when you're at home, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so we don't have too much longer. We're gonna head. We've got some great guests coming up. Sorry, Jenny, go on. We've got some great guests coming up, and we're gonna spend a little bit more time together. So don't go too far. Grab a coffee. Grab your favorite pet to snuggle with, or even your husband if you want to, or your wife, depending on what you've got going on there. And come on back and join us right after the break. We can't wait to share some more with you. Hi, and welcome back to Have a Chat. I'm your host today, Veronique Arsenault, and we are joined by, of course, my wonderful co-hosts, my incredible co-hosts, Audrey Lynch and Judy Loge. So glad to be back together again, of course, on this wonderful
Together from
afternoon.
home.
I know. We're missing everybody. And anyway, but we are joined now by a fantastic guest, one of our local entrepreneurs and a great member of the community. We are so pleased to have the owner of O'Donoghue's joining us, Steph LaForest. So welcome, Steph.
Oh, thank you.
Hi.
Hello.
It's a great afternoon here, and we're happy to have you, of course, from home, but in New York, actually. shooting from O'Donoghue's this afternoon. So it's nice to see a little bit of that historic building there behind you.
Yeah.
Tell the viewers a little bit about you and O'Donoghue's and what you're up to these days.
Oh, okay. Well, I think probably, obviously I'm not originally from Miramichi. I would think local folks here would probably know more about this building than I would, in all fairness. But from what I understand, it is the oldest structure in Miramichi now. Unfortunately, the one that was the oldest did burn down last year. So it's going to be going on 200 years old very shortly. Just it's been a great experience owning this pub from day one and being part of the community. And of course, it is hard work, but it does have its payout. So because of that, so yeah, we've obviously been impacted due to COVID-19, as everyone has. I don't think any industry has gone unscathed. They've either had to make changes or entirely close their operations, and we've seen that across the country. There's been a bunch of changes as this has progressed. And, we do hopefully see the light at the end of the tunnel, but we think it's going to be quite some time. I don't know if that answers your question.
Imagine. Yeah. Absolutely. I can imagine that you've undergone a lot of changes since COVID-19 started here and all the restrictions were implemented. But I'm going to go to Audrey, and I know she's got some burning questions for you, so I'll let her kick off.
Yes, Steph. Yeah, thank you for joining us today. So tell us a little bit about the exciting news that you have for us concerning owning O'Donoghue's and what it means for you to reopen your business.
Well, we are not going to open entirely. We just listened to the announcements from the Premier. And it's going to require a little bit of research into truly what is the best options for a restaurant to in moving forward. They're taking a phased approach. Doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to open our doors. We at this point don't feel that that's the appropriate measure to take. But we have been conducting our business at a limited capacity with deliveries and curbside pickup and that sort of thing in an effort to remain active in the community and also keep some of our employees up and moving. And they've been kind of more anxious to open, I think, than even ourselves. But I think this will smooth out over time. And as long as we're cautious and we don't trigger a second wave, then we'll feel very confident in opening once there's been an appropriate amount of time has gone by.
Absolutely. It's been a tough time for just about everybody, and I think necessity is the mother of invention, they say, and adapting as well. So I know, Judy, that you're eager to hear about Steph's new venture and what they've been able to develop over the last little bit. So I'll get you to chime in.
Well, that's basically what it was leading into, Veronique, is just from this day forward. I know things have to move slowly, but from the shutdown to where you are now and taking it easy, the future regarding your staff, services, offering of the menu. You can just elaborate a little bit for us, Steph?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we're definitely not closed. The way that we're conducting business has definitely changed. It's the comfort level of folks to come back in your dining room is not going to be there right away. And so we have to look at other ways of expanding our business and keeping it moving. Obviously there's going to be some restrictions in seating capacity and that sort of thing, and how many people can sit together and how close. So I do believe that there's some measures in that the Premier has announced whereby WorkSafe will kind of if you've not practices in place, that you have an action plan put together. Did you want to venture into our delivery in particular? Is that what you were talking about, Judy? Or
I think,
Absolutely.
yes, people are really loving O'Donoghue's and waiting for the green light as to what they can expect in the near future.
Right. Yeah. I guess it's kind of a little bit of hearsay right now, but I think the way that this transpired in the beginning, as far as the shutting down process, we anticipate that to kind of take place in reverse. So where they've kind of gone to a 50% capacity and that sort of ordeal, we anticipate that'll kind of transition. We will look at our seating capacity and make sure we have provisions in place that adhere to the safety recommendations by public health. We are going to expand some of our seating outside and what have you as well, which will enable us to host more guests safely. So, you know, we'll take it step by step, and we'll certainly deliver food to people in town if they're hungry, and you know, do our best to accommodate them.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Steph, so the other thing, you've actually been busy, just as busy while you're closed down as you normally would be with your business. And part of that is something very new to the area. Can you tell us a little bit about what's coming for you and how that process all happened?
Yeah, sure. It was about last year that I began to kind of look around for companies to come to our community and offer services here that are typically only available in larger metro areas. You've probably heard of some of them, such as Uber Eats and Skip the Dishes and what have you, these delivery mechanisms. So I did contact the majority of them to inquire to see if they would come to our community, and they blatantly just said no. The market is not large enough here for them to be profitable. So, you know, looking at a community of our size, which is say 10,000 plus surrounding area, you know, if these companies are not going to come into this area, then you know, my background and our other company is in the IT industry, and we develop solutions for a lot of other companies out there. And so I just said, well, you know what, I'm just going to make one for ourselves. And so that process kind of began last year. And I kind of put it on the back burner because it wasn't really needed. We had an online ordering capabilities and all that. And I just didn't really have the time to finish it off. And COVID came around, and here I had a whole pile of time. Imagine that. So I dedicated it to getting this system together in the hopes that we can launch that in Miramichi and offer it to several restaurants in town that do not have the facility for online ordering or delivery mechanisms. We're going to be offering that in town free of charge to begin with as a free trial to get it up and running, get some restaurants, some independent restaurants that maybe don't have the spare cash, especially since they've been closed for 60 to 90 days, you know, to get up and running and kind of deliver some food in town and be re-engaged with their customers. So the name of the product is Delivabyte. You've probably maybe seen a little bit of stuff on social media. We've just begun our marketing. I'm working closely with Ironhouse Productions in town, and they're just a world full of knowledge on how to ramp up a new launch, and they've been very valuable in assisting me to launch this in the community. So shout out to them, Aaron and team. So we'll just move forward, and we're beginning to sign up some restaurants. We have several drivers that have signed on already. We haven't launched them yet, and they're chomping at the bit to kind of deliver food for us. Yeah, we're going to, this week coming up, we're going to actually be speaking to several restaurants and signing several on board, hopefully. And we'll just launch it and see where it goes.
Awesome.
Nice.
And you know what, it's wonderful to see it coming from within. You know, we hear often that we're not quite big enough for some of those services around that, you know, that you get used to when you visit to, you know, other places, but it's coming from within. So thanks for that, Steph. I'll turn it over now to you, Audrey, and you know, you can chime in on what you want to ask Steph next.
Yeah, so it's funny that you're bringing this up, because there has been commercials and things like that on TV geared towards the way businesses are going to be doing business now and what that actually means and the change. And I have seen, like, you know, with the delivering of the meals and the Uber and Skip the Dishes, and I've had a number of people say, "Oh, what a great idea, and we should call them." And I'm like, no, we don't have that here. We're too small. So I myself personally was quite excited to hear and get wind of the fact that this is what it was that you were actually trying to set up for our small rural area.
Right.
Can you tell me a little bit about how many people you think you'll be able to employ or to help, with employment and along with the families that you'll be able to service with bringing such a change in your business and being able to serve them in this way?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping, looking at it from a selfish point of view, in all fairness, and I can look at it from our restaurant, because that's really how it began. It was a selfish venture, in all fairness, and then I just realized the potential of it,
Right.
and could understand that we could roll this out in the community. So I do know for us, we actually piloted it last night with our takeout and rolled it out live, and it worked seamlessly. Of course, we'd done beta testing and stuff before, but putting it out live and rolling it out and seeing it working, it was, I was quite anxious, but, we made it through the night as if it was there all along. And so, in that respect, it's certainly helped us conduct business much more smoothly, because this is a shift from dining room to takeout and delivery. So I won't name any restaurants, but full service restaurants typically have a very difficult time in making that transition, because it is a different type of business. We don't have a drive-through per se.
Yeah.
This is not a fast food restaurant. So people still desire to eat your food, but there's a whole pile of logistics behind actually making that happen effectively, productively, and profitably. If some of these facilities were to actually come into town, and if you were to speak to any restaurateurs out there in metro areas, they're not really huge supporters of some of these delivery mechanisms because of the costs associated. They're very, very expensive, in particular to the outlets, to the restaurants. Anywhere from 25 to 35% of net is what they take. Plus,
Okay.
and I don't want to speak
Wow. That's a
derogatory,
big
that's their
number.
business model. Yeah, I mean, in all fairness, they do bring business to restaurants that potentially may not be there. And so they justify that by saying, well, we supply drivers and advertising and blah, 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 and all this stuff. And in a metro market, they can justify that, in all fairness. In a small market like this, to go to a restaurant and say, I want 30% of your bottom line, that's just impossible to even present to someone. So we're offering something far, far less than that. We're at a third of the cost of any of the competitors out there, and we're hoping that that'll be palatable for restaurants, long term. Because of course there's a cost to carry this thing and have it hosted and all that. So we're just hoping to cover that, be able to pay some of the drivers, and enable some of these restaurants to continue business and not shut their doors. I have fear there's going to be several restaurants that do in fact shut their doors. They were very, very close to doing so already. This came about in the springtime season, when they would have typically rejuvenated their business for the season, increased their cash flow, and now that's not there. And just like any household, if you just don't have the savings there to do it for whatever reason, it's a very, very tough venture, and it's unfortunate. We're all in this situation. I'm hoping this can help a few restaurants break through that and kind of keep their head above water as we kind of come out of this. So that's where we are.
Well, actually, it's funny. It's funny you say that, Steph. Being a business owner myself as well, is this change, like, I'm willing to do whatever it's going to take to keep my employees and my clients safe and healthy during their
Right.
services. But at the same time, for me to implement all the new regulations and things like that, am I still going to be a profitable business? Am I still going to be able to stay in business? What
Right.
will be my bottom line when
Right.
when it's all said and done, and whether or not I have to increase my prices of my services in order to accommodate for that. It's definitely going to be, a little stressful trying to wean all of that out.
No, and it's going to require changes in business, in particular for brick and mortar businesses and retail, that people didn't have to consider before. And so, I think everybody is pretty resilient in Atlantic Canada, and we'll come up with some solutions, especially here in the river. There's a lot of bright people here, and people kind of work together, and I think we'll press through this. So. It's just a matter of being patient and not kind of putting the dollar before safety, if that makes sense, right? So I won't put my staff at risk for the sake of selling an extra fish and chips. I just won't do it. So, we're taking a look at what we have to do and what we personally have to be responsible for. We don't always have to lean on public authority to do the right thing. We all know what to do. We just need to sometimes be reminded by the person on the TV. I think as long as everyone's kind of relaxing and not overstepping the safety concerns, and then gradually rolling business as we're not seeing more cases develop and stuff, then I feel confident in opening further. So we'll do it with a bit of hesitation, and we'll actually look at how we're going to seat our folks in the dining room and all that good stuff, so it remains safe for everyone.
So, Steph, just before we go to break, and we just have about 30 seconds left, please tell everybody how we get a hold of you and how we get a hold of Deliver Bite.
Yeah, as with any business nowadays, and in particular during this pandemic, social media has just blasted contacts out there. And in fact, I ran into friends I hadn't seen in 25 years just because we had a bit of time. So you can find us on all social media, website. You can download our new app, Deliver Bite. It's on Google Play and App Store rather. And you can check us on our website to get the links if you're having difficulty. And we appreciate your help.
Thanks so much, Steph.
Well, you guys do an awesome job.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us today, and we'll see. We wish you best of luck, and we'll be in to see you as soon as we can.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Bye now.
Thanks.
Bye.
Steph. Hi, and welcome back to Have a Chat. I'm your host today, Veronique Arsenault, and I am joined, of course, by my wonderful co-hosts, Judy Loge and Audrey Lynch. Welcome back, ladies.
Hello again, girls.
Hey.
Another segment.
Yeah, we're very glad to be here, and we are joined by a wonderful couple, and we're so looking forward to hear all about everything that you're doing. So I would like to welcome Shikha and Raman Sopti. I hope I didn't do that too badly, but we're so glad to have you on the show today. And you're from Shri Krishna Foods, located in Moncton. That's correct?
India.
Okay.
Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. For all of our viewers out there, tell us a little bit about you. How you started your business and who you are, so that we can get to know you.
Okay. Hello all once again. My name is Shikha, and I am the co-owner of Sai Krishna Food Services Corporation. So a brief about us is that we have lived in Dubai for 15 years. And very recently, not recently, it is like 2 years back, we moved to Moncton. And it's an awesome place, and we love being here. And we started this business a year back. So Raman is a chef from last 21 years, and he has worked in all top hotels of the world, all luxurious hotels of the world. So we wanted to do something new here, and we wanted to contribute to the community by bringing our culture and the taste to New Brunswick. So last summer we were just roaming in the market, and we tried samosas, and those were the sleeping samosas, and Raman was like, no, authentic samosas need to stand. They're the standing ones. So he said, I think there is a opportunity in the market. So he started with 200 samosas. We sold in Shediac Farmers Market, and you would not believe, like, when he started, and I was like, who eats samosas here? Do people know it? And we didn't get to know. We sold 50,000 samosas last summer. So from there we started. Yes, from there we started. Now we are supplying currently to Casino New Brunswick, University of Moncton, Mount Allison University, Cintaria restaurant in Moncton, and there are other couple of cafes and restaurants as well. And the journey was going very smooth, and we have made more customers in the journey. Last 1 year we were supplying to Hop Skip Jump. But then there's 2 months back, as we all know, because of this pandemic, we, as like other small businesses, we also got hit badly. And a lot of our customers, and including us, we had to shut it down, our operations, for a few weeks. But then we thought, like, this is not us. Life is all about accepting challenges. So then Raman and we too are workaholics. So then we thought, okay, this is the time to sit back and, do something for the community. So we partnered with Extreme Cold, where our facility is located, and Partner Seafood. And we made 1,000 meals, and we distributed to Food Depot, Elementary, and Crossroads for Women, and Magma, and even United Way. So that project was 1,000 Reasons to Smile. So I think that project has given us also, that we received so much of encouragement and positivity. And I think that has brought smile to our faces also back. So, and then a week later, Sankara, I'm not sure if you guys know about it. Sankara is, I think, Raman.
Actually, when we started the project, 1,000 Reason to Smile, and lots of people were calling us because I make the dish called black cod, which is a locally farmed, fish, and people, they are very well aware of it. So I just twist the fish with the tomato-rich gravy, which we are using for a butter chicken. So it was I give the butter cod name, and we serve with the French fry, roasted onion, roasted shallots, a boiled egg on top, nice cilantro as a garnish. So people, they love it, and they send us so many messages why you're not starting a meal. So from there we get the idea, people, they are accepting us as a authentic meal as well. It's not people, they just want to eat bland fish, pan-sear, or just steam fish. They want to try some different and unique flavor. And from there we get the idea, because we start with very positive energy. From there we get the idea, and we now we are tie up with the Sankara, and we are supplying entire Moncton meal box plan, weekly meal box plan, and which is right now talking to you, we are getting a message, we need one meal box for a non-veg, one meal box for a veg, and it is really going well.
That sounds amazing. What you've managed to do in the last year is incredible, and I know that we have so many questions for you, and we're so excited. So Judy, I'll get you to kick off this segment and ask your first question.
Well, I just want to say that Indian cuisine is my favorite. It definitely is. I absolutely am hungry now. It's Friday night, so we're salivating having listened to your talk about the food that you serve. Could you just talk a bit more about the various charities that you mentioned, 3 in particular? Could you just touch on each one briefly again, please? There's 3 charities.
Yes. So when we started with this project, 1,000 Reasons to Smile, so first thought was to contact the hospitals, but I think New Brunswick, Touchwood, is doing very well, and that time they wanted to have minimum contact, and they were not in that much of need, so we said okay. So then we contacted Crossroads for Women, and then Food Depot in Moncton, and then Magma. Magma is a multicultural organization. And then when this word got spread, so United Way also approached us. By then, our actually 1,000 meals we already distributed, but then we gave we gave samosas to United Way, because they are doing the breakfast club still for the children. Even though schools are closed, but they're still doing the breakfast club. So then we gave the samosas to them, and we were very surprised to know that people, the feedback what we have got, they loved it. The fusion what we did of buttercord, they loved it. So that was our reason. It is like, if positivity attracts positivity, negativity attracts negativity. So this is what we wanted to give a message, that times are tough, but it will pass. Time shall pass. So I think we touched the hearts. That is more important.
Beautiful,
Absolutely.
beautiful
And
people you are.
Yeah, it's
Thank you.
incredible
Definitely.
what you've been able to accomplish.
That
and
was
I
the
actually
thought. That was a thought in our minds, like in 1 year, the community has accepted us so well, and they love our samosas. So it was our time to give it back. So that was a
Dancing?
small gesture from us.
Yes, for sure. And Audrey, I know you've got some questions as well. You go right ahead.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to commend both of you on your donation efforts for your community. Definitely positive vibes in these troubling times right now. We want to thank you so much for giving back to the community and congratulate you on that. First off, I wanted to say. So during this time, though, you mentioned that 2 years ago you had moved here and opened up a business in Moncton, and now our Premier Blaine Higgs today announced New Brunswick moving into the next phase and phase 2. So I think our viewers would love to know how you both are doing personally with this whole pandemic, and what do you think that this is going to mean for your business moving forward with the timeline of being able to open with all these new restrictions?
Yes, I think that's a very good news we have got today. I think we are very excited. Like as soon as the news were out, we were counting our customers, who were closed, and I'm like, okay, casino is also opening, hopscotch jump is also opening, university might open. So that excitement has kicked in. Because we were for us this summer is the time when summer is the peak. We wait for summer because our samosas are sold in supermarkets, food trucks, cafes, and all the other places. So when this started, it was kind of a sinking feeling, but I think that positivity has kicked in again. So of course, like, not only us, I think if you see, it was across the world. Not only us, I think we all were worried about our businesses, and I'm so happy that New Brunswick is the first province which has loosened some restrictions, which is a good way that we will create economy within ourselves. So maybe the borders are still not open, but we will be able to create an economy within. There is an increase in unemployment, and I hope that with today's decision, there would be some support to people. People will start getting their jobs back. Like even our friends, they have lost their jobs. They are in IT. So there's a kind of fear within us. I think with today's news, it's gonna be better. I think that positivity will bring positivity back. Yes.
I think you're absolutely right. And being here on the Miramichi, as the three of us are located, is there any way for us to get a handle on or get our hands on some of your fantastic food?
I think this is our new province or city we are working on, because we have already got so many calls from Miramichi and Sackville, Salisbury. So we are speaking to Sankara, because they are the ones who pick up the food from us and they deliver. So they would be charging little extra, but we are in talks with them. Miramichi is our next city which we are targeting. So I'm sure very soon.
It's gonna be very soon, and definitely it's gonna be. We'll start something Miramichi. As we mentioned earlier, I'm a chef since 1999, almost 21 years. I'm a chef, and so 99 I start working in India. We are originally living in capital of city, New Delhi. So I started my career from there. Then I got a job opportunity after 6-7 years. We went to Dubai for work. So I worked so many luxury 5-star property, and had so much experience. I work with so many different cuisine as well: Spanish cuisine, Italian, all different cuisine, Mexican, Thai. I went to Thailand to learn Thai curry, because to any kind of curry, not only from India, any kind of making curry, it is very, very, very tough, because curry has to be very well balanced. So I went specially to Thailand to learn about the Thai curry, and that's why I start my journey. And Shika also did BSc Hotel Management degree. She has a quite 15-year experience as well. So I'm basically working on a back to creating the dishes, and she's working with the front, with the customer, with the retailer. As you mentioned, restaurants, they are opening. We are extremely very, very happy, because we start the business with the helping to the restaurants, food truck, farmer markets, all different kind of businesses, because everywhere we can't reach practically. So as we are a wholesaler, we are giving the best price to the retailer, and they are just putting some money on top, and they are putting some salad and some fusion on it. So they are serving to the retailer. So we are very happy, restaurant they are opening. And other side, Sankara, we just introduced last week only from the Moncton, and we get very, very good positive feedback and response. So this week onward, we are supplying to St. John also from Sankara.
Yeah, so we are supplying to Moncton and St. John, and we have a goal of very soon, we want to supply all the Canada. This is what we are dreaming and working for.
Whenever I want to start something, Shika always said, do you think it's gonna be work fast like St. John? St. John is a small province, but you cannot imagine, this is the first week and we get so many order from St. John, more than the mountains.
Wow. Do you get all of your, are all of your ingredients readily available within the city, or do you have to import various products in order to get your cuisine underway?
No, we try, Audrey, to get everything locally, because that's how we are supporting our local market as well.
Yeah.
And right now it's very important that we support each other, and we have to support the local produce and suppliers. So everything what we make in-house is locally produced. We use all the ingredients, everything locally grown, everything.
That's awesome. That's the way it should be. Stay local.
Yeah, thank you. Yes.
So we're almost on our segment, which is really hard to imagine because we have so enjoyed having you here. So I'm just going to get Audrey to ask the last question in the last 2 minutes before we go to break, and well, I'll let her finish off this segment.
Well, I actually asked the last question, so I wasn't prepared.
Oh, sorry.
If there's but what I do want our viewers to know is definitely. So you're a wholesaler to many other businesses out there. If you can let us know who they're going to be, so that our viewers can go and actually try your product, and and be able to get in touch with you, the businesses themselves, to be able to get a hold of you to get your product in their stores. So how do they get in touch with you?
So last Thursday, which is like yesterday only, we have started our butter chicken and rice. It is actually a combo: butter chicken, rice, and samosa in IGA Co-op. I'm sure you guys in Dieppe, IGA Co-op. You guys, they have 6 branches across New Brunswick. So IGA Co-op, like generally we give it to like universities, casino, then Centaria restaurant in downtown. Then we opened a cafe last year. It's called Chai Samosa Cafe in Dieppe. And last week, we had, like yesterday, we started with IGA Co-op. If you want to get the hot butter chicken and rice, you can get it at IGA Co-op.
And we look forward to tasting your wonderful culinary creations. We hope to see you soon here in our region, and stay safe, everybody at home, and take care. We'll talk to you again soon.